So, it turns out that a year can go by pretty quickly.
I forgot. What, for a year? You forgot for a year?
In my defense, my reading schedule has been pretty well eaten up by Pet Cemetery and the Wilderness Book Report I've been doing. If I've got time to take in a book at all, it's usually through Audible. But there's no excuse, and I really want to make reviewing this something of a regular series on this channel. And speaking of things that were promised, this chapter picks up immediately where we left off. The orphanage, it turns out, is a human farm, and the three most physically capable and smartest children, Emma, Ray, Norman, are planning their escape and are planning, at least for now, to take all of the children with them. So what happens in this volume? Not much. They raise Sister Crone, and... oh, fuck it. Should we just get on to Ray? The kids quickly realise that there's likely a traitor among them, someone who's giving information to the mum. And at first we are presented with a couple of suspects, Don, Gilda, two younger children, but then Norman works out that it's actually Ray.
Do not react. You are the saboteur.
You can't do that. He's one of the trio. Look, he's on the cover and everything. Seriously, if I had to guess that one of the three was a traitor, I honestly would have picked Norman. As I said last time, he strikes me as a bit of a wild card, and there's a couple of moments in this that I feel it hinting that he's kinda dangerous. Ray found out the truth when he was very young, and to survive, he immediately sold himself to Mum, sold his services basically as a sheepdog. He would help her, and in return, she would bring him toys and things. And he wouldn't get turned into a McDonald's Happy Meal. All the while, Ray's been planning his own escape for years. He's actually the reason Norman and Emma found Connie's body in the first volume. You may remember from last time... Wait, no you don't, it was a year ago. Last time, I said that instead of just giving me a sad backstory for a character, present me first and foremost with what they believe in. Give me the ideology, the perspective. I should also specify that the characters require reasons for what they believe, and usually this should be based on what they've personally experienced. So if you are going to use a tragic backstory, which this actually is for Ray, use that to inform what they believe now. Weave character to the ideas you're trying to get across. Back in Volume 1, I mentioned being a bit wary of Ray's brand of pragmatism, mostly because of how it's usually received by certain fandoms, but this actually adds a lot of layers to it. Of course Ray thinks the way he does if this is how he was brought up. He lost his innocence years before Norman and Emma. This explains stuff like why he was so distant and detached from everyone else. He knows the other kids are not going to last very long. And it explains his frustrations with Emma. From his perspective, this is his escape plan that's been years in the making, and it's now being jeopardized by Emma wanting to save everyone. After learning this, I like him more, which is weird considering what I've just learned is that he spent years sacrificing other children to keep Norman and Emma safe, and he doesn't even regret it. And yet Emma and Norman forgive him immediately. They want to save him, and you don't feel angry with them for doing that. I'm not even sure they're wrong to. Having someone do such horrible things at so early in their development when they're not even really a person, they're not even halfway to really being a person, and yet they've got to take into account all the horrible things they've done. It's a new layer of fascinating awful. And now, Ray is willing to work with Norman and Emma, but on the condition that Norman trick Emma into abandoning all the other children.
It's just one lie after another.
And he's conflicted about it, but I wouldn't put it past him. Earlier in this novel, he lies to Don and Gilda, saying that the siblings that went missing might still be out there, when they know the truth all too well. What's fascinating is that at the time, Ray objected to this, and I'm not sure if that was part of his cover or if he genuinely meant it. Well, given that he's now just asked Norman to deceive Emma, yeah, he was probably faking it. If I had one thing to mention, and this is really more of a feature than a bug, is that a lot of the book is spent with the characters surmising what the others must know based on their actions, and it can get a tiny bit hard to follow at a certain point.
But see, they don't know that we know that they know. Do they know that we know? They don't know that we know they know we know.
Though I was reading this at 2 in the morning, and I'm a bit slow at the best of times, so take that with a grain of salt. Overall, I'm still very invested. The artwork in particular continues to shine. There's less demons in this one, but they've really outdone making Sister Crone look sinister. And once Ray is revealed as the traitor, that awful talent is turned on him. Imagine parody Ben drawn by this artist. Well, see you in 2024.
Days and weeks and months, all on my own. I thought you were dead. And where were you?